Well, welcome back. It's been a busy year for Republican presidential hopefuls in Iowa. We've been following at town halls, rallies. So has Jason Clayworth from Axios. He joins us in studio this afternoon to talk. It all comes down to today, right? There's been a lot of work going on. Jason, give us kind of your insights, your thoughts heading into this evening now that caucus days finally arrived.
Well, what we're hearing from the political scientists that have talked with Axios is a lot of this depends on how big of a win that former President Trump gets tonight. All expect him to win tonight's caucuses, but the real question is by how much. Caucuses are largely a game of expectations. And the expectation is that he'll do really well. But if there's a slimmer margin, and if Nikki Haley, for example, or Ron DeSantis come in close, that could give them a lot of momentum for upcoming states. And so that could change some of the factors that we see in this race.
All about turnout, and we can't ignore the cold. I mean, what factor, how big of a factor do you think that will have on tonight's turnout?
Well, one can't help but believe that this will factor into tonight's turnout. Traditionally, roughly the last few GOP caucus cycles, about 20% of voters show up. There's about 2.2 million voters in the state. About 35% are Republican, a little more maybe. And so tonight, it's likely that we'll see fewer, but with so much interest in this race, that could throw a curveball in this, and we'll see what happens.
Another curveball, right? The way this system is, if you can register at your precinct. So in past years, we have seen some new Republicans as of caucus night, right. Democrats, independents, other people saying that they're voting in this Republican caucus. Throw that into the mix. What are your thoughts?
So we call them crossovers. And again, some of the political scientists that we've talked with at Axios says that this could make a big difference in this race. This could make the difference between Nikki Haley having a slimmer margin of in number two, closer to Donald Trump. So, and we're seeing that in our Axios Des Moines newsletter. We did a call out earlier this week and asked folks who are registered Democrats to speak with us and talk with us about whether or not they plan to register as Republican and participate. And we heard from dozens of people who feel like their voice won't be heard if they participate on the Democratic side this year.
Sure.
They want to be a part of this, and so they are registering at least temporarily. Maybe they won't switch over, who knows? Caucuses have been for a long time a big way for parties to rally support. And so it's yet to be seen what influence this has on the parties in general. This could help Republicans gain an even bigger stronghold in Iowa.
Sure. Let's talk a little bit then about the long and storied past, of course, that we have of caucuses in Iowa. This year, a little different with Democrats having an incumbent, but then also not having results for those presidential preference cards tonight. I mean, what does the future hold, right? Your crystal ball, what does the future hold?
Well, what we're hearing at Axios is that it's very likely that the Republican caucuses will return in 4 years. That it's likely stable, but with an asterisk. There's a question of its relevancy. Tonight could prove part of whether or not this gives momentum to other campaigns. That's historically what Iowa's caucuses have been. So the Republican caucus is likely solid in 4 years. The Democratic side, there is a big question mark to that. The folks that we've talked with are skeptical that it will return in its former form, that Iowa has possibly and permanently lost the Democratic caucuses. So we'll see. I mean, that's yet to be seen. Those are fights yet to be fought, but battles yet to be fought. But we'll see what happens with those. But Really, it is a question of what is in Iowa's future and what that holds, and that's a big uncertainty.
I know a lot of question marks tonight, not just what happens, not just with the results, but then even farther down the line, what happens in the next cycle. All interesting things that I know you'll be watching closely with your role at Axios as well, because it's a working night for us all.
It sure is a late night for us.
Yeah, all right. Well, I appreciate your insight on the cold, the caucuses, the crossover, etc. Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, Janae.
All right, let's send things over to you guys.
Okay, thanks, Janae. Thanks, Jason.